So I have had my bike for a little over a month now, and I've only really ridden it a handful of times, but I've been accumulating parts like you would not believe. And today is the day we're gonna give it some love. Now, this video is definitely not going to be for everyone, but that's all good. It's a video I really want to make to record the process of me doing all this to the bike. So the parts that I got are mostly cosmetic. There's a few little performance things, but I'm going to do a full rebuild on the engine next year. But mostly this is just cosmetic, few blingy bits, a couple of performance upgrades. So I'll give you a look at what we've got now. So first up, I'm replacing all the plastics and everything. Brand new plastic stickers. It's going to look really nice when it's finished. I got a titanium pipe here, which is beautiful. A new headlight switch, indicator switch thing, because it was having a problem. There's something loose in there. It was like $3 for a whole new one. So I don't want to play around with it. I'm just going to replace it. All the parts here are so cheap, right? Like I got a new Kickstarter for $3, a new gear shifter for like $4, side stand for a couple of bucks. So all these parts are just so cheap. It's just no big deal to buy them all new. So I got full titanium bolts down here. I'm going to replace all the bolts with titanium. New levers that I've made up out of like a few different setups. So new brake and clutch lever. Got a braided brake line. New Brembo calipers. New disc brakes. New shock. A new spark plug. I'm going to replace the spark plug. I wanted to put the pipe on first. I need to play around with the jetting. It's running a little bit rich, and I'll get it running nice and crisp. I'm going to replace the fork oil with a heavier fork oil so we can hopefully stiffen up the front end a little bit. Got new wheels over here, which are really nice. The gold will go really well. I'm going for that HRC look, red, white, and blue with the gold wheels. Got a blue seat here, which is like a little cool, trendy, skinny seat. I don't know how comfortable it will be, but it'll look cool. A few other cables. The speedometer doesn't have a cable, so I'll get that working. Also got a new clutch cable, brake cable, radiator overflow. It's going to be a big day. Strip down is coming along nicely, as it should. This is the easiest part.
There's not a great deal of commentary going on here, so I better do some narration for old mate here. Look, we're down in the garage. He's pulled his dash apart for the 3rd time. I don't know what he hopes to achieve, but, you know, watch this space.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
Have you ever seen a throttle tube break before? This one's about to. So working on this is exactly how I remember working on bikes. It's fun, but then some things can be super frustrating. So for an example, my wheels, my new gold wheels that got sent, had the wrong bearings in them, and to knock out the old bearings and put new ones in, it's a 10-second job, right? But of course, I couldn't get them out. I don't know how they were put in for the life of me. So it's like half an hour of work just to get the bearings out. So sweating, but I'm having fun. Well, it's finally starting to look like a bike. Yeah, I've been down here for the better part of 12 hours now. Had a couple of breaks, but I'm getting there. You know, it's challenging to work on this bike because there's no manuals for it. There's no information in English. It's a real struggle. So everything I'm just sort of figuring out as I go, and sometimes I get it wrong first time. So I'm almost done. Like, I've got it to a good stage. So tomorrow I'm going to bring it down, finish it off, and then take it for a ride and do all the tuning. I'm exhausted. Well, I knew I had to run into some hurdles at some point, so trying to install the beautiful Brembo caliper, but the little billet extension thing that they sent me, I think it's the wrong one on the wrong size because it doesn't fit between the fork leg and the disc, so that's a bummer. I'm gonna have to send this back. That's a whole challenge in itself. So just to give a quick update, it's now about 2 weeks after I started filming this video. I had some issues with being sent the wrong parts and returning them and getting new parts sent wrong a few times. I've also had a hell of a time with my brakes. So I've got new Brembo calipers, which are absolutely beautiful. And I spent a full day trying to bleed them unsuccessfully, and I couldn't work out what the problem was. It's like hours, you know, I know how to bleed brakes. I shouldn't be having these problems. And it turns out I had a braided brake line, not this one. I had a braided brake line sent out, and I was fitting that. And it turns out that the brake line was faulty. So there was like a tiny little leak in it that was letting air in. And I didn't put two and two together that it was the cable. I couldn't figure out how air was getting into the system, why I couldn't bleed it. I tried everything for hours I spent working on it. So now I've got a new braided brake line. I've got my caliper off. I've got my old caliper here. I've got all these different parts. a syringe. I'm pressure testing everything, and it's all good. This one's looking like we're going to be all okay now, so I need to put this on the bike, bleed the brakes properly, and then I'll be done. I've also got some new axles because... Actually, I just got axles because they look nice, and new bearings because I was having a hell of a time getting the right size bearings because the ones that came on the wheels when I bought them were wrong, and I sent them back. Wait, let me show you. I have been sent the wrong bearings, not once, not twice. The third time they told me which ones to get, I went out and bought them, and they're also wrong. So a combination of these two is what I need, and I am now a bearing expert and found the right ones and bought exactly what I need. So now I have everything. I should just be able to put it all together, hopefully one last night on the bike or one day or whatever, and we're done. Please. Oh yeah. Come on, baby. And here we are. So it's funny, I've been editing the video of me building this thing, and it looks really simple, but the reality is it's now probably close to a month and a half to maybe even 2 months since I started doing the build, and I've done so many different things that I haven't shown in the video. You know, it looked like I took the wheels off once and put them back on and that was it, but the reality is they've been off and on like 4 or 5 times. I've changed axles, I took the swing arm off and painted it, I've touched up other things, I keep pulling things apart and painting them, fixing them, touching them up and putting it back together. It's just been a hell of a build. It's finished to a point that I can ride it, but I've still got parts arriving. I still had an exhaust. This exhaust is great. It's really, really loud. So I've since gotten a different one that just arrived today, but I'm down here in Pattaya. So anyway, the bike is awesome. I'm gonna take it for a ride now. Okay, one last update. The new pipe is on and I wanted to bring the bike out and start it up so you could hear it. Hear how good this thing sounds. So the old pipe that I got looked awesome, but it was so loud. It was basically like a straight through pipe and I didn't really like the sound of it anyway, so. This is a top of the line WRC full titanium exhaust. This is made by the guys that build all the drag bikes. This was like a third of the cost of the entire bike, but it looks awesome. And the actual performance, I noticed a huge difference in performance with this pipe. So this is really cool. Hang on, let me start it up so you can hear it. So you can hear it's still a little bit loud, but it idles really nicely. It sounds much nicer. So my condo staff are really cool with me letting me work on the bike in the car park. They like the bike, they like me, they think it's cool what I'm doing, but you know, getting in there and revving it is a bit of a deal breaker. So I've come to out in the middle of nowhere and having a bit of fun with it. God, it sounds good.